Davos May 2022.
Whenever a government claims to have the people's interest at heart, you need to think again. In the entire history of mankind, there has never been a political elite sincerely concerned about the well-being of regular people. What makes any of us think that it is different now?
Alright, so we have a few more clips to watch from Davos 2022. However, the clip we started with is spot on. I just don't know when people forgot this basic truth. But anyway, let's start with a very ominous clip. This is from the president of the Rockefeller Foundation talking about the coming food shortage.
My biggest concern, frankly, is that we are just starting a food crisis that is far worse than 2007, 8, and 9. And that by the time we get to August, September, October, what we all know as the hungry season, and we can go into why it's referred to that way, that we will see the consequences of this food crisis in the terms of political instability, mass migration, famine in certain parts of the world.
Now, this is a mostly manufactured crisis, and I cannot stop thinking about how this is a perfect storm for consolidating power. They will use this emerging crisis as a way to pitch centralized control over distribution of resources. And of course, their continued merger between corporations and governments. Okay, so for the next few clips, and as we discussed in the last video, they want us all to move into an entirely digital world. Just know that they want to remove all human interaction. They want you to live your entire life in the metaverse. Check this out. They have up here virtual travel and tourism. Now, doesn't that sound like fun? You can travel, but only in the metaverse. I mean, why would you actually want to go to the pyramids in Egypt, for example, and see them with your own eyes in the real world? Just do it virtually. Totally makes sense. But from there, they also have virtual socialization, virtual learning, virtual work settings, virtual gaming, virtual trading. I mean, look at this chart. We are in some crazy, crazy times. Every single initiative works towards destroying the human experience. Alright, so in that vein, let's check this out. So this was a meeting with the young global leaders. You know, Klaus Schwab's mentor program, his pipeline of future dictators. And well, it's entitled, The Internet Knows Me. So let's take a look at their infatuation with facial recognition, the metaverse, and their concepts for the future regarding Minority Report style surveillance and a total loss of privacy.
Turning the malls into, so for example, when I'm on the internet, I get suggestions. The internet knows me. And now with this metaverse, do you think that these big malls will have facial recognition? I walk into a mall, or like in order to bring more retailers into the mall, you walk into the mall, you walk into a store, there's facial recognition. They know, Fatma, she likes this, this, this. I walk into a restaurant, facial recognition. They know what I like, so they can suggest making it a more personable, more fun experience for myself, since each and every one of us is going to have different types of enjoyment of experience. But turning the mall into a place where you walk in, and I know it's kind of scary because it's like invasion of, but it's already there. Our privacy has already been invaded when we enter Google. Why not do the same for the malls, making our experiences better, where we don't have to try on clothes in the shopping mall. We get the clothes, we look at ourselves in the mirror, and it's already on us, like completely turning it into a more, do you see the future turning into something, retail turning into something like that?
I do. It's, to be honest with you, it's more the present, the near present, than the distant future. And we've made big investments in that regard to build the infrastructure. From a consumer perspective, it's a bit polarized. There are people who love that experience and are willing to give their data to be offered a highly personalized, targeted experience. And on the other side of the spectrum, we know customers who find that creepy and intrusive, and they don't.
I just do not know how any rational person would want a future like this. You can count me out. Why in the hell would you want every corporation to scan your face and know everything about you right away, in that instant, gaining access to what you like, what products you buy, and your emotional status? That is insane. So one way they are doing this is through economic pressures and moving towards a digital payment system. Now, for the crypto people, I am still a proponent of the tech. However, we are walking a very, very fine line. We need to take these concepts very seriously and really contemplate the platforms we are developing. We need to contemplate the downsides and seek to curb the anti-human element. The elements that provide complete control over human behavior and compliance. And we have to ensure that the central banks don't get their little grubby hands all over the process. So in regards to this, let's take a look at a clip of Vandana Shiva talking about India's transition to a cashless society and the pitfalls of such a move.
And if you notice, my country was the first where they made cash illegal. 2016, digitalization was forced in the country. 8 o'clock in the evening announced midnight, cash was illegal, the big notes. And 70% of the economy crashed.
Now moves are being made. Although they take many different shapes and methods, we are seeing things like this. Supermarkets banning cash and cards and moving to facial scans that are linked to your digital ID. This opens up brand new avenues of tyranny, such as social credit scores and behavioral modification programs. Mostly through the concepts of rewarding people with crypto for compliance with government initiatives. This is really, really dangerous. You know that clip we watched in the last video? The Alibaba Group president, J. Michael Evans, bragging about how his multi-billion-dollar company was creating a carbon footprint tracker to monitor people's consumption around the world.
Okay, so how are we going to do that? That's like a daunting number, and we've committed to do that. So from a consumer standpoint, that billion consumers, we're developing through technology an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on. Second thing, we have set up on our platform products that will show what are the carbon emissions if you're buying them. So people can look at what the carbon emission effect is of buying a certain product. We're also setting up a green channel for only green products. So those are three things that we're doing on the consumer side. And they're pretty interesting, and one of them is going to go into play, particularly the green channel. We're going to see how well it works.